Well, I decided this evening I'm doing my first burn off of my new Rec Tec 2500. This is a big old grill. I can see it's already lit. I see the smoke already starting to come out a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and, now that I know it's burning, I'm going to go ahead and close the lid. This Rec Tec has got, this big one, 2500, has got these lift assist on the hood because this hood is heavy. This smoker weighs about 600 pounds, but you can see the size of the bars. These are almost, I don't know if they're 10 millimeter. They're pretty close to 3/8 of an inch. They may be 8 or 9 millimeter. But yeah, she's smoking. We're going to close the door, and the instructions say to burn this off, you take it up to 400 degrees. So I've got it set at 400 degrees. This also has an internal light, which I think one of the things, once this thing gets a little cooking done on it, those lights probably get a little dirty. But she fired up really fast. It's got one thing I like about it, it's got everything. This is all stainless, the barrel stainless. This is double wall actually down here on the ends. It's got two places for two grease traps. I don't have them on right now because there's nothing in here to drip out, because it's just all, what this does, this basically sterilizes and burns off any manufacturing oils. This smoker has a 53 pound hopper. I filled it about a fourth of the way up. It's got the same controller that my 1200 has down here, and this 1250 has been a great, and still is a great smoker, because I got the smoke box on it. It works great. I bought this 2500. I do a lot of cooking for my church and for groups of people I have out here, and just trying to bless people. And this bigger one will allow me to do larger cooks all at once, using the 1250, which is phenomenal. I cannot say enough good things about it. I sometimes would have to do multiple cooks in order to do a big event. So hopefully the 2500 is going to help take care of that. Some of the features on the 2500, I mean, the shelf on it, it's really about the same width, maybe a tad wider than what's on the 1250. Of course it is a little longer. Of course the whole grill's longer. Still has the same bullhorn handles, which I love. It's just a nice feature on the Rec Tec. I like them. It's got a little different logo on here than my older model. It's more of a kind of a cast piece there. This one looks to be a bit more. It's got it's a cast piece too. It's just got a little bit of a ring around it, a little dressed up, so really similar. So with the wheels, it's got bigger. Of course, it's got a big cart because this thing weighs about 600 pounds. So it's got a big cart. Yeah, I got an Oklahoma Joe's mat. They're okay. I found them on Amazon. They were bigger. It's a bigger physical mat than the Rec Tec mat, which was, I bought originally the Rec Tec mat, but it was kind of small. Now it's a better quality mat, I'll say that, but it just really wasn't big enough. So I bought one of these Oklahoma Joe's mats off of Amazon. It's been fine. It just, I had some grease spills with my other smoker, and the grease kind of sat on there, and it kind of caused it to buckle up. So what else? It's got a little storage area under there. I don't know what you put under there. I guess people who are taking these to maybe competitions, this one won't leave my porch. I won't be taking it anywhere. It's too big to move around. It does have tie down straps on it right there, where you can tie it down to the bed of your truck if you do want to take it places. There are people with food trucks that use these and do their smoking out of that. So the cart's pretty heavy duty. It's put together with a whole bunch of little sheet metal screws right there. But then when you set the hopper and it all in at one time, it goes in with these bigger, larger screws right there on the corners. It's already, you can see how it's already going up. It's 148 degrees just since I fired it up. I mean, just a few minutes ago. So it's heat. I was kind of curious about how fast this big smoker was going to heat up compared to my old one. But it does appear that the fire pot is a little bit bigger. So I don't know about the burn ratio. The 1250 at 225 degrees burns about, I think, a pound an hour to keep it at like 225. You know, this one, I don't know if it's going to burn a little bit more than that, just because you got a physically larger cubic inches inside to fill up. So I'm going to assume it uses a little bit more pellets. But so far, this is my first, like I said, my first burn off. A couple of little things have changed. This has kind of got a place to hang your tools here, where they've changed that a little bit from my 1250, which, you know, had these little hangers coming out here. I kind of like those hangers coming out there, but I have noticed that on this one, sorry, this is dirty. I wipe this down every time I use it, but sitting out here on my porch, it gets a little dirty. I did notice that the box now on the new ones is totally wrapped around stainless. I do like that. I like the fact that's a little bit cleaner looking, and I think these will work. I may put some little stainless rings on them or something. It depends on what I'm going to put out there. A person really could just bend them out if they wanted to hang stuff, and maybe that's what they tell you to do. I doubt it. I think they could come that way. But maybe they do. I hadn't read all the instructions on it. But it's pretty quiet. I don't hear the auger too much. Of course, the auger doesn't have a lot of debris or anything in it on the first run, so it doesn't make a whole lot of noise. I really wanted to put a smoke box. The only reason I'm keeping this 1250, I considered selling it, because it has some value, but the smoke box is great. I love it as an attachment, and I called Rec Tec about a smoke box on this, and you just can't do it, because if you do, this one has the twin exhaust stacks for the smoke. And I do metal work for a living, so even if I decided to make an adapter and put a box out here somewhere, it would throw off the smoke coming out of the unit. So I couldn't do that, and I thought so. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get rid of my 1250 or not. I'm probably, since I am going to be using this one now more, I probably will go through and do a deep clean on this one. I need to clean the front up. This happens to them over time. I need to go in here and do a little maintenance on it, just clean it up, because it works flawlessly. It has been a tremendous smoker. I've got about 270 hours on this smoker. I do change my foil out every smoke, but it needs to be cleaned out a little bit. I just got through doing a bunch of stuff on it this past week, so got a little bit of buildup on it. My smoke tube back there in the back. I may get another smoke tube for this 2500, because I love the smoke tube for additional smoke flavor. And as far as my purposes go, people discuss this a lot. In my opinion, in my view, and that's all I can give you, smoke tubes make a world of difference. I get really good deep smoke rings. I cook a lot of stuff at 250, 275. You don't get as much smoke from the pellet smoker when you start getting up around 275. 225 you do, but I love mesquite. I use a lot of mesquite in my cooking. So I may buy another smoke tube so I can have twin smoke tubes. The thermostat on this unit is directly in the middle, so it's really balanced. This one, the smoke tube, because it's only got one exhaust, the smoke tube is over on this end, and that needs to be cleaned off, by the way. It needs to be wiped down. Like I said, I need to do a good deep clean on this. I may just set it out, take it out in the yard and do a pressure wash job on it, clean it up. But you got to be careful with pressure washing them. But anyway, clean the stand up and everything. But I've had this one a little over 2 years, and like I said, I've done 270 something, plus probably almost 300 hours worth of cooks on it. So it's been really good. And this one I like. It has the 40-pound hopper, which I really like. But this one has a 53, so you can put a 40-pound bag in there with no problem with that hopper. They changed the I don't think on this unit, yeah, the pull handles were a little different on the 1250. They just went in with screws from the inside. On the 2500, I tell you, these things are pretty stout. They give you these brackets. You put a screw inside there, and then you screw it into there. And if you watch the video, they show picking this thing up. Two guys picking this up and sitting it on the stand. I'm gonna tell you, and you know, I go to the gym 3 days a week, and I mean, I got a little age on me. But picking that up, I mean, you take everything out of it. You don't want any extra weight. To pick it up and put it on that stand takes a lot. You better have a good strong back, because this thing, that just the cylinder itself, I don't know what you call it, is really heavy. Of course, this wasn't on there or anything like that. I didn't have the tray on there. I don't have any of the guts inside it. But personally, I just drove my tractor over here. I used a strapped it to those handles, picked it right up. So those handles are pretty stout. I will give them credit. They do show just picking it up from that. And that's what I did, but I wrapped a nylon strap around it and picked it right up on there. See how our temp's doing? Yeah, we're up to 236 already. I've been going about 11 minutes here, so it's taken about almost 12 minutes to get to 239. I thought I'd just walk you through this. Now what we do, we get it up to 400. It says let it run for an hour. So yeah. I tell you, if you don't, this is something I've told several of my friends about. Now I'm wanting to develop I want to reform my porch, and I want to develop a corner outdoor kitchen out here, and I haven't done that yet. So these are just sitting on my porch. So you know, I keep them away. Of course, this is up against stone. I keep them away from the log. But I don't have, you know, good table. But I use these aluminum trays. This one is just flipped upside down on a couple of sawhorses that I just rigged up out here for a temporary table. Because if it gets stormy or anything, I can just fold that up and take it inside and put it in the shop. But if you don't use these type of pans for your food prep, man, you're missing out. Because you take one of these pans, or two of these pans, or three of these pans, and use them, you know, use them for food prep. Man, they're easy to clean up. You've got a big sink, you wash them, clean them up real good, get them good and food safe. You can buy those on Amazon. These were actually, I picked these up. I didn't buy them. They were getting ready to get thrown away, and so I got like 6 or 8 of them, and I use probably 2 at a time. And if I'm doing a small cook, just laying my chicken out on those pans, man, it's great. Saves so much cleanup time in your kitchen. Keeps all the juices in the pan, keeps all your seasoning. You're not getting it all over your countertop. So these food service pans, they're aluminum. You can buy them on Amazon. They are not expensive. You can buy a pack of them, but you know, really, you don't, unless you're doing a lot of food. But I've got this here, so what I do is I'll clean it off and wipe it down, sanitize it. And then I'll bring it out. I'll put it out here somewhere. And if I'm going to wrap butts and stuff like that, I just put the paper right on top of there. I can set them out, set them on there, wrap them, put them right back in. That's just kind of a little jury rig, a little table I put together, like I said, with these collapsible plastic sawhorses, a couple of 2x4s. I cut them just to fit inside the pan, so the pan doesn't. You know, it can go this way, but it can't come off. So that's just something I've started doing. Anyway, I'll probably go ahead and stop this. I was just seeing how long it's going to take. Looks like about, it's at 282, and we're almost not quite 14 and a half minutes into this running. So I'll get off of here because this is kind of boring. But I just kind of wanted to show you the difference between my 2500 and my 1250. I'm looking forward to this being probably my new main smoker. I mean, if I was just doing something real small, I'd probably still fire the 1250 up and use it because it's perfect. But probably what I'll do with it now is I probably won't put the top rack in it as much. I'll probably just do small cooks on here. It's got a place on the back to hang that other rack. Like I said, this needs a good cleaning up. I just got through doing a cook on it the other day and haven't cleaned it up since, so I got to do that. But probably I'm just going to use this as a single layer smoker now, use my smoke box to keep things warm. May just use the whole thing as a warming oven, turn it way down, put pans and things, cook corn and stuff. And probably in this one, because it's got 4 levels. 1, 2, is that 4, 3 or 4? I can't remember. Yeah, it's got 3 levels in this one. So in the 3 levels, probably what I'm gonna do most of the time is take one of those racks off and out of there. And probably I may make me a little place to hang it back here, make a little rack for it to hang. Because on a lot of my cooks, I'm gonna be able to do most of them on just the bottom and one other rack. But it's gonna be nice when I have to do like 300 wings. I'll be able to get 300 probably plus wings on this at one time. We're over here on the 1250, 150 wings at a time was about as much as I wanted to put on there. What happens for me anyway is you don't have enough space, you don't get a good enough smoke, and I do a lot of wings, I do a lot of chicken thighs, I do a lot of pork butts. I'm starting to do more brisket, and really enjoying doing the brisket cooks, things like that. So probably here in the future, for the mainstay of cleaning, I'll probably just keep 2 racks on this, 1 rack in that one, and that's probably going to do the bulk of what I want to do. Like I said, unless I'm getting ready to do a big wing cook, I'll throw all 3 racks on here and be able to do a big wing cook all at once. So anyway, I hope y'all have a blessed evening. I'll get this posted out here pretty quick and try to get it out so you can take a look at it. Like I said, no experience with this yet, just firing it up for the first time. I hope maybe just some information. It does have good locking wheels on it. I keep those wheels locked. One of the drawbacks to me, the 1250, is it did have kind of a wimpy little wheel, but you know, mine doesn't get rolled around, so the wheels really didn't matter. If you're rolling this in and out of a garage or something like that all the time, then they made I think a heavier duty cart for the 1250. But for me, they're just sitting here. Even the wheels on this, I'm glad they're there, but it's not going to get rolled around. It'll get rolled around when I need to clean and pressure wash the porch and things like that. But yeah, it's definitely not something that's going to keep me from buying a 12. I think the new ones. I think the one that really replaces this is the 1400. They've changed their models. They've got 1100, I can't remember, 13 or 14. I got a 1400, I know, and that's square inches of cooking space. So they've changed their models up a little bit. I've noticed one thing I do like about the 1250. It does have the cast iron heat deflector that goes over the fire pot. And my son just recently got a 410 Patio Legend, which is a smaller one because it has a smaller patio. And I noticed it had the stainless steel deflector, and I think they're putting that on a lot of the smaller units. But on these bigger units, I'm glad they went to the cast iron, which the 1250 has. I'm assuming the 1400 has it too. This one has a massive cast iron heat deflector that goes over that fire pot. It's big. It's probably twice the size of what's in here. That may be why this thing heats up. I mean, pretty quick. I mean, we're at 327. So this is going to be probably 20 minutes or so to get to 400. I'm just going to estimate it's going to be 22 minutes. It's getting up there pretty quick. And that big deflector, and plus one thing else I noticed on this one, I'm going to open it up a little bit. Those stainless steel drip trays, those things are thick. I work with metal, do metal work for a living. I didn't put a gauge on it, but of course this is probably all metric because these are made in China, but they do have good quality control on them. Those stainless steel drip trays there's 2 of them. One angles this way, one angles that way, and they overlap. Those things are like 11 gauge material, which is really nice and stout. The one on the 1250 down here is definitely thinner than that. The thickness of that is a little thinner. I mean, it's very adequate. It's fine. It has not been a problem at all. But I think the thing I'm getting at is because you got a bigger cast iron heat deflector, once that thing heats up, that is going to help retain heat because it's a big piece of cast iron. It probably weighs, I don't know, 15 pounds, maybe 20 pounds. It's pretty heavy. And then you've got those big grease trays that are heavy, so they're going to heat up and retain heat. So, and then just the thickness of this is all stainless. Now this has got a double wall. Now I don't know if it's insulated. I'm doing something I shouldn't do. I'm touching it. I think that must be an insulated double wall, because I'm actually putting my finger on that right now. So that's got to be insulated, double wall on each end. Just put fingerprints on my. Let's see how this one is down here. Yeah, that must be insulated double wall on the ends. Now the top, this is not desperately. You can feel the heat coming off of that, and the back side. Those are definitely not double wall. But there's a lot of heat retention in this unit, which I think just is going to help it not use as many pellets. Maybe it's going to be 25 minutes because we're at 3:45 and we still got a little ways to go. So anyway, I'm going to get off here, stop talking. I don't have a lot of other info for you. This is just my initial. The putting this together definitely have. I'll say this. There's a couple of things. There's only a couple of things that I ran into on putting this together that were frustrating. The most frustrating thing were the bolts that hold this on. Okay, there are 4 hex-headed bolts. 1, 2, and then there's 3, and then there's one down there. There's 4. They are stinking hard to get to because there's just not a lot of room in there. I really wish the engineers would have had this plate here, broken that plate over, put more of a bend in it where those screws didn't have to be right up next to that. And when you watch the video, them putting this together, there are a few differences between the one on the video and this one. They don't even mention those 4 stainless hex-headed screws that I used in that. I put them there because I thought that's where they went. There was 4 holes. The rest of these are just like a zinc. They're just a zinc-coated Phillips screw, that right there. They all take the same nut size, 17 millimeter, as far as the outside diameter of the nut. But putting this together, having 2 people to do it, is definitely a must. I mean, I did a lot of this by myself. I had my son help me put the base together. We brought it out here. He helped me. I took the tractor, lifted it up, set it on. Once I got it set on, I just did the rest of it myself. I just took my time. I will say, you're doing a lot of this laying on the ground. Now, what I did on my porch rail will actually come off, and I rolled it over to my porch, and I stood down there on the ground, and it gave me really a good a way to work on it. But if you're doing this just on a flat concrete surface or whatever, might as well get you a mat. You're going to spend a lot of time on your knees and laying down, especially if you're a little older. I know that kind of wears on you. It's got the same place for the probes to go through. Same setup here, 2 probes. So they don't give you any more probe ports, which I kind of thought on this big smoker they might add a couple, but I'm sure it's going to be fine. A lot of people buy those Bluetooth cordless ones, and they come in a pack of 4, I think. But I don't use those. I've been very happy with just using. Okay, I'm going to give you a time. We're almost to 400 degrees. And I started this video right as I fired this up. So it's going to get to 400 right at I'm at 23, almost 24 minutes. And it's probably going to get ready to click over here to 400 in just a second. And at 400, I'm going to be at just a little over. Yep, there we are. 24 minutes and 9 seconds to get to 400 degrees. I don't think that's too bad to bring this up to temp, because I have a habit on mine. I don't know what other people do, and I don't worry about what other people do. I do what works for me. I sterilize my unit. I fire it up. I scrape the grates off, clean them with. I don't use a wire. Don't use those wire brushes. I do have one that's got plastic on it instead of steel things. I really want to get a better one. I may get one of those fireman brush things, what they're talking about nowadays. But anyway, I bring it up to 400 every time I get ready to cook, and I use that as a sterilization. And then once I bring it up to 400, I clean it again real good, knock all the stuff off. I knock the stuff off before that because I change my foil at every cook. You don't have to, it's just what I do. and then at 400, it stays there for a few minutes, and then I kick it down to my cooking temp. Sometimes I'll just open the lid, let all that excess heat off, but it'll bleed back off to 250, 275. I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do, but it's what I do. I just like to get a good sterilization heat. Now, it doesn't have to go to 400 to do that. That's just what I do to get a good burn off. All right, so this is now, it's going to start settling down. It's at 402, so it's kind of going a little over, but it'll go over. It'll start backing off here and settling down at 400. All right, I think that's about all I can do tonight. Y'all have a blessed rest of your week. I hope this at some level was helpful. This is definitely not the smoker for everybody because it's a pretty big smoker. The only reason I bought it is Rec Tec ran a really, really good 4th of July sale. And this is 2024. They ran a tremendous 4th of July sale, and I snatched one up while they did that. They may have a good sale at Prime Days on Amazon if you're interested. But again, this 1250 that I've had has been wonderful. It is probably more than enough smoker for a lot of people. Even if you're doing just, I've cooked enough food on this thing in multiple batches for, 150 people. So you can do it. It just takes a little bit more. I do love the smoke box. So anyway, y'all take care. Have a blessed day. And I'll be honest with you, I hardly ever read comments because I just don't have time. But if you have a question, you put it on there. If I happen to see it, I'll try to give you an answer. Like I said, don't know a lot about them. Because as far as I know a lot about Rec Tec, but not about this particular smoker. Yep, hoppers. Everything's looking good. All right. Y'all have a blessed day. Take care.